Hi everyone, it's Cass. Welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be a pretty straightforward video. We're going to do my September currently inked, and if you like to see these kinds of videos, then let's go ahead and get started. I think I went a little too hard. I inked up 7 pens plus I'm still working with my everyday carry black pen. This I'm hoping is going to be a good amount. Typically, I like to ink up 5 because that gives me the chance to play with everything and feel like I'm getting enough usage out of each of these pens. 8 does seem like a lot, but I was too excited to play with some of these pens. This first one I have inked up is very exciting. This is the Bennu Euphoria that I hauled a couple of pen videos ago, and I didn't ink it up at that time because I had my other Bennu inked up. So this is my first time playing with the Bennu Euphoria in bourbon, and it still writes like I've loved from these Bennus. Bennu Euphoria bourbon. And this is a medium nib. And I have this inked up with a brand new ink. I bought it all the way from Canada. So this is the Dominant Industry collaboration with SHELLY. And this is the infamous ginger chicken. It's September. It is officially fall in my mind. And I have wanted to play with this ink for a long time. I actually signed up for this, I signed up for like the restock notification on Ginger Chicken. So as soon as it came back in stock, I placed my order with SHELLY. So I had to get that from Canada. Now, when I first inked up this pen, I like to ink it up in my Leuchtturm notebook just to get a sense for how it's going to write for me. And so this is the Ginger Chicken writing sample. And I did, for the lefties, do overwrite, side write, underwrite. And this is just a wonderful combination with pen and ink from this experience alone. So it's going to be hard for me, I think, to see which one I end up loving more between Ginger Chicken and Sailor Texas, because they're very, very similar, kind of orangey, earthy brown, warm brown. I don't know which one I'm going to love more, but the way that this ink performs so far, it's super wet. It writes so well in this bourbon. I mean, look at that together. That looks so good. Okay, this next one that I have inked up is a re-ink. Like, I have already cleaned this out of the pen and then I re-inked it up with the same exact ink for no reason. Then last month when I was doing my like ink wrap up, I kind of explained how I went just a little bit crazy in terms of like playing with too many new things. And so what ended up happening was I took this Esterbrook SD with Yamabudo and cleaned it out, but I felt like I didn't get enough time to play with this combination. And so that's the sole reason why I re-inked this up, because I wanted more time to play with this Esterbrook in the fine nib. Yeah, I just was like missing this combination and thinking to myself that I didn't give it a fair shot. And so I immediately re-inked it back up. I think I only filled it like half full in the cartridge. And, you know, hopefully I'll be able to like write this dry. But I discovered in the month of August that Esterbrook SDs are like these two pens right here. These two pen models have skyrocketed to being some of my favorite pens. This one just writes so wonderfully. It's so comfortable despite how big it is. And it's a wet writer. I loved it. And then this Esterbrook SD, I just have discovered that the weight of this pen, the length of this pen, it all works so comfortably in my hand. And then what makes this even better is that cushion cap feature. And I've been able to leave things inked in these pens and they don't dry out. Dominant Industry. That's Wonder Pens. Wow. So sorry, Wonder Pens. Wonder Pens is in Canada. Pen Chalet is in Arizona. They are two totally different shops. Okay. I ordered this from Wonder Pens. What a sloppy little... Okay, it's fine. It's fine. It's all fun. So my apologies. That is the Dominant Industry and Wonder Pens collaboration. Wonder Pens in Canada with Ginger Chicken. Okay, now that I'm back to this. I ordered this from Pen Chalet. I actually did order this from Pen Chalet. The Conklin All-Americans were on a sale, and I had looked at this model a couple of times before, and they come out with a lot of different models in this All-American style body. And they also had like a full-on matte black, but I just like the rose gold. But what I'm trying out is this Omniflex nib. Okay. So this is like a proprietary nib with, I think it's Monteverde and Conklin, this Omniflex. And I had wanted to try this last year on a Monteverde pen. I ended up not going with the Monteverde pen because after watching reviews of that one, it was like that pen was way too heavy. But this one seemed like, yes, it's a big pen, but I would never post it. That doesn't seem like it's designed to post. So when it's uncapped, it's a very comfortable size, pretty comparable to pretty much every other pen that I'm inking up this month. And I wanted to see if I would like this Omniflex nib. So when I inked this one up yesterday, I actually had a really great experience with it. And I have this inked up with Diamine's Blue Velvet. Most of the colors that I picked for this color palette, I really wanted like colors that kind of punched you in the face a little bit. I wanted bright, bold, saturated colors. And I really feel like this Diamine Blue Velvet gives that to me. So this was me kind of seeing what the flex on the nib was. And you do have to apply some pressure in order to get that flex. For the lefties, the overwrite, side right, and underwrite, it flows much better as an underwrite, but not by much. This itself seems like a medium nib when it's actually writing, in comparison to the other pens that I have inked up. So it was very comfortable for me. I guess this might have a little bit of a hard start issue, as we discovered right there. But for a steel nib, to have some flex to it, I kind of wanted to give that a try. Okay, this one, my standby, the good old Twisbee Eco. This is a Twisbee Eco T, and the color is Saffron with a fine nib. And I inked this up with Diamine Pumpkin. There's actually 3 Diamine inks, I think, this month. That wasn't intentional. It was just me finding the love of these like super bright colors. If you've been paying any attention to my last few ink-related videos, I've been having a moment with orange inks. So I didn't want to re-ink the orange that I had going for August, which was Pen Chalet, Dominant Industry, Arizona Sky Citrus. This one's a little bit darker than that particular orange, and I just wanted to play around with it because we are entering fall, and I think orange inks and I might still be a thing for a couple more weeks, maybe months, as we head into the rest of the fall season. Okay, so this is the pen that I'm actually going to be carrying over from my August Currently Inked. I kind of want to see like how big this ink reservoir is, and how long it's going to take me to write this dry. And because I've also just been like having such a good time with Birmingham Pen Company. So this is my Opus 88. The model is Omar. And it's the clear demonstrator. The obsession with this pen and ink combination is very, very real. I think the eroded bronze just looks so good inside this clear pen. And I love gray inks. I really, really do. Gray inks, I will gravitate to way more than a black ink. And I have so many gray inks in my collection. So I want to give this a chance to see, like, how much longer will this give me? Like, how long will it take me to actually write this thing dry? As just like a true test to the capacity of this eyedropper pen. Now I have two very special pens that are making their debut on my channel, and I'm so excited. I purchased my very first hand-turned acrylic pens made by independent pen makers. And you will probably recognize these models. So the first one, and I really cannot believe I managed to get one of these pens. This is a pen by Little Pen Designs. The model itself, they call it, is the Acadia model. But what makes this so special is this is the Candy Nougat pen. And to me, it was kind of like brought to my attention by Ginger Peachy Pens. I had seen, I think, maybe one other person with the Candy Nougat style. Now, Ginger Peachy Pens has this one with multiple different colors. Like, hers is very much like a one-of-a-kind, but I got mine in the violet. Okay, so there's an interesting story behind this pen. I got this with a fine nib. I originally wasn't going to get it with a fine nib, and I might actually switch this nib out. I was kind of thinking maybe I'll just like buy the Goulet Pens steel medium nib to put on this, but for now I'm fine with it. So what happened was, and if you are someone who follows me on Instagram, you might have noticed the change and the shift. I purchased two versions of this pen, completely unintentionally. And the first version of the pen, I was like literally scrolling on Instagram. It was like a right place, right time kind of moment. But I follow Little Pen Designs on Instagram. And I feel like with a lot of these independent pen makers, that's kind of like the best way to see what they're up to. And he had just posted that he had finished up a big batch of these Candy Nougat pens. Okay, I've had it inked up with Diamine Marine. So there's my third and final Diamine ink of the day. He had just posted that he had finished up a batch of these Candy Nougat pens, but the cap was a solid color, and I ordered it in the teal. Okay, so it usually comes in three colors: the teal, the pink, and the purple. I jumped on it to get the Candy Nougat with the teal cap. Again, there's a picture on my Instagram with that pen in my life. And I had not actually inked that pen up. I received it. I loved it. I was still pretty much in the throes of like with my currently inked Esterbrook, with my currently inked Bennu. I didn't want to ink up a new pen. I kind of wanted to wait until I was ready to do a whole nother batch of inked up pens. And so I never inked up that pen. And then what happened was I was scrolling on Instagram, and Joseph from Little Pen Designs again posted on his Instagram. It was a right place, right time moment that he had an extremely limited batch of Candy Nougat pens in the original model with the Candy Nougat in the cap as well. Now, from me following along with Ginger Peachy Pens, I learned that he wasn't going to be doing these Candy Nougat pens in the cap because the material, the blank, is really hard for him to make the cap out of. That's why he had kind of shifted to doing a solid color cap. And he was like, I have a very, very limited number of original models. I think one of each in teal, pink, and purple. And I immediately went to Etsy and grabbed the purple one because it was honestly the only one that was left. They sold out that fast. So I actually have now sold the teal Acadia. I don't have it anymore. I sold it to Just Scribble here on YouTube because I saw that she was actually interested in the candy nougat like through Instagram. And so I just privately reached out to DM her and I said, hey, I have 2 and I can't justify keeping 2. Would you be interested in the teal version? And so I have sold it to her. And so I only have the 1 original candy nougat in my life. And I'm very, very happy to have it in my collection. It's so bright, so fun. It doesn't match my fall inks or my fall pens right now, but I don't care because it's adorable. All right. And then my final pen that I am showing off. This is from Zodiac Pen Company. The pen model is Virgo. Bart from Zodiac Pen Company created this. And the blank is a Jonathan Brooks blank. It's the Water Lily Koi. Okay, so there's also a story time attached to this pen as well. So let's see. I had this inked up with Rohrer and Klingner's Altgoldgrün because I thought the green was fall appropriate, but it really pulls out the green inside this pen. Okay, so what happened with this pen? Once again, I follow Zodiac Pen Company on Instagram, and I've kind of been stalking a lot of these independent pen makers' websites, and well, let's see, this is in a medium nib as well. Bart from Zodiac Pen Company will typically showcase like finished pen models on his Instagram and let you know if they're sold or if they're available. And so I have stalked his website pretty frequently because I have been in the hunt for a Water Lily Koi pen. I really have. I feel like my pen journey has kind of progressed in a very natural way where like I started with those like mid-tier pens, then moved on and kind of dabbled with a few gold nibs and now I'm kind of like on the other side where I'm like, oh, now I should check out hand-turned pens. So I have stalked and looked for a Water Lily Koi pen for a very long time, and I knew that Zodiac Pen Company had the blanks. So what happened was I went onto his website, and the model was available, so I immediately purchased it because these ones go so fast. Well, I actually got an email from Bart saying, I am so sorry, that pen listing wasn't supposed to be live. That particular pen that I had listed has already been sold. And so my website hadn't taken the listing down yet when you purchased it. And so like purchased already paid it. So he reached out to me via email and said, I actually have a Water Lily Koi blank that I'm working on right now. I will consider it your pen. And I'll send you the photos. And if you still want to move forward with the purchase, then I will send it to you. Just such a nice person to work with. It was like totally unexpected. He could have just said, nope, that's already been sold. Too bad, so sad. But he specifically was like, no, I will finish the Water Lily Koi that I'm currently working on, and I will send you pictures. Then he messaged me like a couple days later, maybe it was like over the weekend or whatever. He was like, I have bad news. This blank did not turn out. I would never sell it. I'm immediately working on a new model. Like I'm immediately turning around and working on a new blank. And as soon as he was done with the pen model, it was so fast. It was so fast. He reached back out to me again, emailed me the photos. He was like, to be honest, this one turned out much prettier, and if you want it, it is yours. I will send it out, and this is the final result. The thing that I love the most about this particular one, I love this right here. This reminds me of like ice cream. Like I love like raspberry swirl ice cream, and that's exactly what it looks like. But it has like all of the colors, the green, the raspberry, that cream inside this blank. It is so pretty. So Bart, I cannot recommend him enough with Zodiac Pen Company. Just absolutely beautiful. And this pen is extremely comfortable. Extremely comfortable. It feels so good in my hand. This is like the perfect width. It's not too big. It's not too long. The grip section, it feels so comfortable. I'm extremely pleased with how this pen turned out. And then, of course, just a quick writing. You know, this is a number 6 steel Yovo nib in medium. So it performs exactly like you would want it to. And then with that little pen designs with the fine, that's also a number 6 steel Yovo nib in the fine, and that performs exactly how you would want it to. So I've had no issues with any of these. And like I said, this OmniFlex is like the newest nib kind of experiment that I'll be working on in the month of September. All right, there you have it, my September currently inked. Let's go ahead and put them side by side, shall we? Maybe that's the closeout shot, huh? Okay, let's hold it like that. They need just a little extra help. So those will be my pens for the foreseeable future. Like I said, I kind of gravitated toward bold, punchy colors that really stand out from the page. And I look forward to seeing how each of these performs throughout the month. If you like this kind of content, if you like to see currently inked, if you like to see ink rambly thoughts, if you like to see plan with me's, I also throw in a little bit of Bible journaling. If you like any of those things, please go ahead and subscribe to this channel. It really helps me out. It helps me know that you like and enjoy the things that I'm putting out for you. There we have it. Like, comment, and subscribe. You know how these videos end. I'll talk to you later. Bye.